Welcome back, everybody. This is Bulldog. I'm back with another LEGO Legacy Heroes Unbox video. This time I'm looking at Basil the Bat Lord. He just came into the game yesterday via his own event. Pretty highly anticipated character, so I'm going to give my initial thoughts on how good I expect him to be, take a look at the event, give my thoughts there, and just kind of go over everything that came in new to the game yesterday. So let's jump right in. Let's look at the event first. He comes via this brick pace event, which is my favorite way for premium characters to be released. These are nodes that you play through just like you would the general campaign. You can get character tiles. You can also get these bats, which can be used in the store. I'll go show you the store here in just a moment. But it starts out very easy. Level 15 gear 2. Pretty much everybody's going to be able to get through that. And I'm finding that these recommended levels and gears are kind of overboard. So at the end it says recommended level 57 gear 6. Obviously you don't need that because that's not even obtainable. It's level 50 is the max, but it was not for me, who I'm a beta level player. I've got plenty of gear 6 level 50 character teams. I played this on auto, which is actually why I lost a star right here. Which doesn't matter because I don't plan on looting that one. But I played through the whole thing on auto with I used my pirate team, and there were no problems whatsoever. So it's not overly difficult for in-game players, and even beginning level players can get something out of this. Everybody's going to be able to get something out of this, which is why I really love this event. I'm going to go in here to the store, because even if you don't want the character, you get these bats, and you can get more Basil the Bat Lord tiles. You can get other castle tiles. So if you're a new player and you're going after Go-Go, you can spend on Go-Go, or maybe somebody like King Brutus is you haven't been able to get from the arena store or something like that. There are other options here. There's also gear here. There are some decent pieces of gear, and there's these tier 3 ability sets, ability mats. So unfortunately, the tier 3 set ability mats, they got rid of for this event. I got a lot of those. A lot of people got a lot of those in the last event. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like that. Maybe they didn't intend on it to be that cheap. But I'm disappointed those are not back. But other than that, I really like this store. Really like how you can get these tiles as a free-to-play player. If you can complete the whole campaign free-to-play, you will have no problems unlocking him at 3-star. You can probably get him to 4-star as well. You might have to spend some of your free gems you get every day, but if you're a free-to-play player and you want to get him to 4 stars, that should not be a problem. A lot of you will even be able to get him to 5 stars as free-to-play. So I've got about 4K gems saved up here. I finished top 10 in arena every day. I think if I want to go through that stash, I can probably get him to 5 stars. I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm thinking I'm not going to do that. But if I wanted to, even without spending any money, I should be able to get him or I think I could get him to 5 stars. There's some RNG with the drop rates and that type of thing. But he's very obtainable to 5 stars. Now, if you want to go up to 7 stars, it actually got a little more expensive. So this pack right here, the energy pack, a lot of people use that. Previously, it was $20 and you could buy 5 of them. They use that to help take them to 5 stars. They reduced that pack so you can only buy 1 of them, and it's more expensive. So for those maxing it did get a little bit more expensive, or probably a lot more expensive. So that's kind of a downside there. This is a brand new game. They're still kind of figuring out what they want to set the prices at, what people are going to pay. So we're seeing a lot of fluctuation in that. So I don't know. Again, most people, for your average player, that's not going to be a problem. Most people aren't spending $200 to get that character as soon as he comes out. This event does come back. So a lot of times my plans with this event is to get him to 7-star the second time. So maybe try to get about halfway through, or at least get close enough that if I decide the second time through that I do want a 7-star him, if he ends up being a good character, that I'm in position that I don't have to spend a ton of money. I don't mind spending a little bit of money to max him out, but basically put myself in position to go after him hard the second time if I decide to do that. So anyways, let's look at his kit real quick. Actually, before we look at his kit, let's back up 1 second and look at his stats. So this is, let's scroll up here so you can see it. This is LLHU.gg. So this is a great website for looking at character information. We can see here, so down there about the middle of the screen right now, it says max stats. You can see what his stats are when maxed out. So you can get an idea of how good of a tank he'll be, how hard he'll hit, how fast he is, all those types of things. The only stat off the screen right now, because I'm zoomed in with the website just a little bit, accuracy is off the side. His accuracy is 15. But looking at his stats, he is a tank, but he's not going to be great at absorbing damage, which might actually be an advantage depending on which team you're using. We'll get into that in just a second. But as far as just being a traditional tank and absorbing damage, he's not going to be that good at that role. 9.9k health is not that good. 401 defense is pretty low. It's not that good. His speed is good at 115. His attack is going to be, I would say that's above average for a tank. As far as tanks goes, it's certainly solid. So his damage will be all right. But his stats are definitely not overwhelming. I'm not looking at these stats saying, oh yeah, that's a character that I definitely want by any means. So it's going to have to come from his kit. Let's switch back over and look at his abilities here. So we'll just go left to right, start at the beginning. His basic, 100% damage, has a chance to heal himself. And then the cool thing is he can clear a buff from the foe and copy it to himself, and clear a debuff from himself and copy it to the foe. So that part there is definitely pretty cool. And 100% damage, I said his attack was above average for a tank. So as far as damage goes, it's pretty solid. Get a little bit of a heal, chance to flip some buffs and debuffs. So pretty solid basic, really. Nothing, again, basics don't generally make or break the kit, but as far as basics go, I like it. So his second special here is basically going to be a heal. So all castle tank heroes gain heal over time. Spooky heroes gain max health up, and then he's going to damage himself and heal everybody else. So if there's more spooky heroes, if he's on a full spooky team, he will only do 5% damage to himself. If he's the only spooky character, he'll do 25% damage to himself. So he's basically sacrificing his own health to heal others, which you'll see why that can be an advantage here as we go along a little further. And because I'm not only going to take a look at him, I'm going to take a look at Willa as well, because those two pair very, very well together. So that's where some of the synergy is going to come in. But anyways, third special here, this is his taunt. So he does not have any sort of passive taunt. We'll see as we go through the abilities. There's nothing there, but he does have an active taunt. Gains taunt for 2 turns. Deals 60% damage to all foes. Decent AoE damage, not anything tremendous. For each foe, he has a 50% chance to heal for 20% of the damage dealt. If they have fear, that chance is 100% instead. So most people using this right now the fear is not really going to come into play too much. So it's mostly going to be 50% chance to heal for 20% of the damage dealt. So if we're looking at how much of a heal that is, against like in PvP, if you're facing a team of 5, that's going to be a total of 30% damage. On average, you're healing for about 10% of that. So you're healing for about 30% of his attack, essentially. Now you can get defense and crits factoring that in, but all in all, it's a minor heal. It does not turn out to be a major heal or anything like that if you run the numbers. But still, any sort of heal is decent. AoE, but mainly your taunting. This is your taunt ability. The damage on top of it, the heal on top of it is only minor. The biggest thing here is that you're gaining the taunt. So first passive, whenever he's inflicted with a debuff, Basil gains 5% defense up to a maximum of 30%. His defense is low to start with. Even if you're getting a 30% of that, it's still not going to be great. So overall, his defense is not going to be a net positive, even with this passive. Second part though, whenever Basil is defeated, heal all heroes for 30% of his max health. This is part of what's going to pair very well with Willa. Again, on an average team, okay, you've got your taunt, or you've got your tank that taunts, and then if he dies, you heal 30%. It's not anything amazing on just your average cat. If you're throwing him into a castle team, a lot of them are going to be full health anyway, so I don't see this as a huge benefit to your average castle team. This ultimate right here is what I could see allowing him to play on kind of your everyday typical squad. Willa is not currently obtainable for most players, so you're not going to get that synergy there. I'm going to show Willa's kit as well so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. But this ultimate ability is what I really like. So he increases the debuff duration on all foes. Foes inflicted with fear have their debuff increased by 3 instead. Basil doesn't really have a way. He's not going to be inflicting fear by himself. So if you're not pairing him with Willa, fear is not going to be a huge factor. So mainly increasing debuff duration, doesn't inflict stun, clears taunt and stealth from foes, and copies them to random foes for the lowest turn duration. So if you're facing a team that you're having problems getting to somebody, whether it's because of stealth or if you've got a taunt that you can't get around, if you're trying to fight a pirate squad and you can't get past Scarlet's taunt, she keeps taunting. Something like this could be very useful because you use this when she has taunt and it puts taunt on a random foe. So you get taunt that might go on an attacker, go on a high value target, and now you can target them down, and that can be a huge benefit there. So I could see him being something that you can add to another squad if you're having problems getting around a tank just to make an attack. I mean, it's going to be random, but a lot of times you're going to get that taunt put on an attacker or something like that, and then you can go after them. So that right there is an extremely valuable ultimate. I really like that. Then he's also going to heal a lot on top of that. So a very strong ultimate there. That ultimate is what I can see him. Where I can see him being plugged into some of these other teams to get around some hard to get taunts. Or you've got a castle team, for example, which has multiple tanks that keep taunting, trying to get around Barnabas, and he keeps taunting and countering, and you can't get down some of the other attackers, or you can't get down Magisto or something like this. This could mix things up, throw a taunt on somebody else, and make it a little easier. So that's I do really like that ultimate ability. But overall, again, I don't think, unless you have Willa, I'm not a huge fan of him on just your average castle team or average other teams. Let's go look at Willa here real quick so you can see why Willa is such an advantage. Let's this one right here. At the start of Willa's turn, if Basil the Bat Lord has been defeated, reassemble and heal him for 25% of Basil's max health. When she reassembles him, all their heroes gain payback for 2 turns. So this would allow Basil to die over and over and over again. When he dies, he heals up the rest of the team. When Willa reassembles him, gives payback to everybody else. This is what people have been playing against in PvE and sometimes struggling against. So We've seen a lot of power creep with the Ninjago and the Pirates adding a lot of damage, so I don't expect there to be a lot of timeout teams necessarily here. Although if you throw enough tanks around, it could be hard to get to Willa. But I don't anticipate it going back to a timeout meta. Even for people who are whaling and spending thousands of dollars and have Willa plus Basil, I don't anticipate being a true timeout meta. We do have ways to get around that and do lots of damage now, so it's not going to be the same problem that it was in PvE early in the game when we didn't have damage numbers as high. But this is still a very powerful combination, and this is where it's going to be a powerful duo, absolutely. Bad thing is that Basil doesn't have really a passive taunt or ways to continuously taunt once he's revived. But having somebody like Brutus, for example, who can throw a taunt on Basil, so you've got two active taunts there, and then that can make this team a pain. Magisto heals whenever characters attack out of turn, so everybody gaining payback, and then they're countering and they keep healing. So yeah, that can be a very, very powerful team, and that combination is going to be very good. Willa is, when I say you have to be basically a whale to get Willa, let me go over here and show you what I mean. She comes from the Master Shop. So if you have any extra tile, you get 5. So 1 tile is worth 5 tiles at the Master Shop. You need 200 tiles essentially to get Willa, and then she unlocks at 65 tiles. That is, I'm not going to do the math right now. I was trying to do the math in my head, and I'm trying to talk and do math at the same time. To max out Willa, that is a lot of tiles. Even just to unlock Willa is a lot of extra tiles. So very, very few people are going to have Willa, but that's the combination that is going to be pretty powerful and honestly a lot of fun. But it's not going to be unbeatable. So somebody can't just spend $10,000 getting all these extra tiles and get Willa and sit at arena number 1 every day. They are going to be beatable, but it's going to be a very, very powerful team. So, and then one last thing we'll look at real quick here is the set. So this set is farmable. Anybody can get it. I've got it. I could have it at a 2 stars here. Trader Transport. This is the Fright Night set. So this is what's going to be working with Spooky. Castle heroes have their attack and their max health increase. That's obviously a very good passive there. When a Spooky hero damages a foe, they have a 50% chance to heal themselves for some of that damage dealt. So we've already seen Basil has that a little bit. If you add the set, he's going to heal even more. So he does get some passive health regeneration, but it's still not going to be a ton. It's still fairly weak. This part is really good. Whenever Basil Bat Lord is defeated, there's a 25% chance to inflict disarmed on each foe for each turn. And then you can add extra percent for each debuff. All Fright Night heroes heal even more. So adding this set with Basil, with Willa, where you can not only gain payback yourself, but disarm the other squad, that's very, very powerful. And then you've got extra chances to disarm. So when Fright Night heroes deal damage, they have a 40% chance to disarm. If they're already disarmed, they inflict stun. So this set with Basil, with Willa is going to... It's so fun to play. I wish I could get Willa and actually play around with this. If I had Willa, I would probably spend to get Basil because I really like that combination. But for almost anybody watching this video, you're not going to have Willa. You're going to be using this... you're going to be using him on an average castle team or throwing him someplace else. I don't think he's that great on your average team. I just don't. And so I don't. That's why I'm not planning on spending much money to... I'm not spending any money at all, actually, to get him. I might use a little bit of my crystal hoard there. Not much of a hoard. But might use some of my saved up crystals to get him within range. So if Willa comes and is added someplace else so that you can get her more easily, that's going to make me want to get Basil. So I want to be in position so the next time that Basil comes around, if Willa is out there and we've got Willa, that I could actually go get him and max him to 7 stars. So he's got a lot of potential. Could be a very important character down the road. But as far as right now, wanting him, he's not that high on my list. So that's kind of my overall thoughts on the whole thing. So I know that was a long-winded kind of preview of the character. Oh wow, much longer than I thought. But anyways, hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of what I think about Basil and how good he can possibly be, or how good he won't be, maybe depending on the situation. So I plan to do a lot more videos. So I know I haven't got a ton of Lego Legacy videos out, but raids are coming up. We are pretty sure raids are coming with the next major update. They said second half of this year is when they're coming. They kind of gave us a guideline on what all we're going through, kind of their path, and raids are the only thing that we haven't gotten to yet. So it feels like they are next. I cannot wait for raids to come. You're going to start seeing a bunch of videos from me when raids come out or when we start approaching that. So raids are what I kind of my thing. So I cannot wait. I'm super excited. Kind of trying to prep up for raids as much as I can. I might do a video. Actually, I'm planning on doing a video on that soon as well, what I'm doing to prep for raids, even though we don't have a ton of information, but I am working on some things there since I'm pretty caught up as far as the meta goes, so I'm excited there. So anyways, thanks a lot. I will see you guys around, and I can't wait for more to come. This game is growing so fast, and I'm excited about it.